just like the simulation.
As a child growing up in the 90s, yes I am going to bring that up at every opportunity, video games had certain limitations. Move left to right, battles are turn-based, find the puzzle pieces. Enemies weren't very smart, and games weren't too complicated. When you're an 8-year-old kid in the year 2000, all you cared about was Pokemon Silver, Fridays or Pizza Day, Backstreet Boys over NSYNC, NWO over D-Generation X, and holy shit, do I want some inflatable furniture! Seriously, back when I was a kid, this was like the most baller shit in the world to me. Things were simple. It was a bit more fun, and everything was see-through for some reason. I mean, did we really think that we were gonna see the electricity floating through our phones in our rooms? Which, by the way, if you had a phone in your room, f*** you. Little did I know, things were about to get very complicated very quickly. See, in my youth, some of my favorite times were spent with a cousin of mine playing video games. Diablo 2, Age of Empires, and later on, a game called The Sims. What was this game? You mean to tell me that I'm not playing some short Italian plumber or a wacky bandicoot? No. I'm the main character? Getting to live out fantasies that I would never be able to realize in real life, such as owning my own home with a job I enjoy and a wife who loves me? Sign me up. And just like that, a whole new world was opened up to me. A new world not unlike our own. A world where I was in control. A world of simulation games. Titular line, I soon found out that the genre was not new and it was not limited to The Sims. You see, the genre really kicked off in 1984 with a game called Fortune Builder. It was kind of like a prototypical basic simulation game where you would build up a company and try to be successful, where you would levy things such as how close the workers lived to the factory and stuff like that to try and build your fortune. It was alright, but the genre really kicked off in 1989 with the release of a game called SimCity. Yeah, I've heard of that. Ever wanted to be a city planner? Well, there you go. There's the tools for it. Make a city more effective than San Francisco. I dare you. You just what? You can't. That city's fabulous for a reason. The success of SimCity really kicked off a new genre for the games industry. A genre that would later include games like The Sims, Nintendogs, Madden, Rock Band, and Lawn Mowing Simulator. But with an umbrella genre so vast, where would one even start to talk about it? Why not biological simulators? Let's go. Games such as Sim Earth, Sim Ant, and Spore. 3 games designed by the legendary game designer Will Wright. Biological simulators tend to focus on the lives of non-human entities, whether it be realistic or fantastical. And a prime example of this is Goat Simulator, and it does count, I don't care how absurd it is. Social simulators are among the most played, but also the most fan-friendly and just new player-centric of all the simulator games. The Sims 4 records just about 10 million monthly players. I mean, as I wrote this script, The Sims 4 had more players on Steam than Among Us, which honestly, as far as I'm concerned, that's kind of sus to me. I'm sorry. I understand entirely if you close this video. But we can't forget Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing here, because they do count. Management simulators, including games like Anno and City Skylines, the 2 spiritual successors to SimCity. City Skylines, by the way, which went head-to-head with SimCity back in 2013 and curb-stomped it back to EA's trash pile where it belonged. God games, or God simulators, we touched on back in the Peter Molyneux video. It includes games like Godus, Reyes, and Black and White 2. And I mean, who hasn't wanted to play God? Of course that genre exists. Government simulators are incredibly fashionable as of late. Games like Tropico, Europa Universalis, and Democracy. Democracy 4 for when you want to prove that you can run this country better, only to be assassinated by a vegan pacifist coalition. EU 4 for when you want to just dunk on Britain. And Tropico 4 for when your backyard seems a little empty, so you decide to steal the Eiffel Tower. No, I'm being serious. For when you want to steal the actual Eiffel Tower. Yeah, guys, just drop it right next to the Brandenburg Gate. That's nice. Sports simulators, or just sports games, are obviously, unsurprisingly, among the most popular of all games in the genre. Games like Madden, Out of the Park Baseball, and Football Manager. Each of these games is just different shades of makeup on the same ugly stuck pig, but damn it, if it's just not so addicting. I have won the Super Bowl 5 years in a row. LA Chargers, moving them back to San Diego, 97-0, baby. Woo! But why stop at just field sports? Racing simulators have been popular for decades. Games like F1, Forza and Gran Turismo have been popular, and it's easy to see why. Because in real life, I might drive a 2008 piece of shit Honda Element, but in this game, nah. In this game, I wonder if you know how they live in Tokyo. I'm sorry, that was bad. Or, in a more boring way, driving simulators are laterally similar without the risk of death. Euro Truck Simulator, Jalopy, and Mud Runner all let you drive realistically, albeit with different levels of accuracy. Not unlike flight simulators. Have you ever wanted to sprout wings and soar through the skies and fly like a bird, don't fly away? Well, games like Microsoft Flight Simulator, Ace Combat, and Flappy Bird have got you covered. Alright, fine, Flappy Bird doesn't count. Just go to GeoFS on Google Chrome and thank me later, alright? Wow, Shoddy, nice hat. That's a lot of simulation games, but I bet you can't name any more. Well, that's why I'm in the chair, dumbass. All right, let's get through this next genre fast before a fedora materializes on my head. Dating simulators like Being a Dick, Dream Daddy, and Doki Doki Literature Club all combine incredibly good plot and story to a very high regard. Just don't go into these 3 games expecting the same story, because you will be surprised. I love you, Monica. Only you, Monica. Shut up, weeb! When planning out this video, my mind would often drift back to a bit by my favorite stand-up comic, Kyle Kinane.
That's the pornography of this era. It just shows about people that have jobs where you do something. These are truck drivers. These are loggers. You wouldn't give a fuck about that 15 years ago, but right now it's fascinating that somebody gets up every day and gets a paycheck. Look at him go.
And his point is doubly true for video games. Mechanic simulators, tank mechanic simulators, plane mechanic simulators, lawn mowing simulators, the Tenants, House Flipper, Power Washing Simulator, PC Builder Simulator, Drug Dealer Simulator. You name an occupation, there is a simulator game for it. It's like Rule 34 for video games. But what if there really isn't one? Well then, Rule 35, baby, there will be one eventually. I can't lie though, I have a soft fondness for these games. Maybe the boring, repetitive, monotonous activities help soothe the autism that I refuse to admit that I have. And lastly, we just have simulator games that I can't find a real genre for. Games like Dwarf Fortress and RimWorld, Factorio and Satisfactory, the Tony Hawk games and Skate, Civilization, Hearts of Iron, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, Bee Simulator. You like jazz? Personally, as I've grown older, I've grown more and more fond of these simulator games. I don't know if it's just I've grown away from shooting games, but it's just, I love the ability to just hang out and turn my brain off a little bit and zone out and just play these monotonous games. It could just be a callback to because it's something that's within my control. I control everything, and you lose that as you get older. And with me approaching 30, I mean, the stark reality of life is crashing down upon me way more than I ever wanted it to. But if I have to really actually think about it, I always think back to when I was a kid and we would just sit around and play video games together, and we would always sit right in front of the computer, and it would be games like The Sims and Diablo and Age of Empires, and Total War, these simulators that were just so niche but also so fresh because they were new. It was the technology caught up. And my fascination with these games is what set me on this trajectory to probably without them, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair talking to you right now. I mean, you name it, there is a simulator game for it. Whether it be high fantasy or the most monotonous, boring thing imaginable. I am a huge fan of the simulator genre, whether that's evident or not. And the funny thing is, I was only talking about strictly simulator games. I didn't even touch on tycoon games. Thanks for hanging out. This was actually my second time attempting to record this video. The first time I recorded it, there was a smudge on the lens, the room was 100 degrees, I sweat through my shirt, the lighting was off, the green screen was flat. It was a pandemonium of errors, and it was a fiasco. But thanks for hanging out anyway, because I loved making these, and I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you're feeling froggy, but I don't know your life. Maybe you're not about that, alright? Just whatever you do, I hope you get laid soon, because you know what? You deserve it. One love.